Deuces Wild, motherfuckers!
Yeah! And welcome to baseball season 2024.
So good, man. It really touches my soul when I start getting box scores and highlights, and it's just awesome in every sense of the word. I can't believe how quickly it just came, and it's here. And we got the Giants thrill today in spring training. Scored 5 runs in the bottom half of the first inning. They went on to tie the game 10-10. But I mean, this is electric, dude. Before we even get into the Giants and what happened on the field of play, you showed me a picture just before we came on air here that I don't think I've seen anything like this in a long time. Definitely not since any sort of playoff series or World Series in which it is mandatory. Thrill, can you please reveal the picture to our No Filter Network audience?
So we had talked about this. You and I had talked about it. Everybody in the chat room knows that, I had talks with Bob Melvin and Matt Williams, and they said, we're bringing in a new attitude, and we're going to treat everything first class like the Giants did of old. And this was a picture from yesterday's ball game, and just show you the difference in mentality in what a year makes and what leadership makes. This right here is before the ball game yesterday in Scottsdale Stadium. The whole San Francisco Giant team is standing up for the national anthem in front of the dugout. That is what I'm talking about right there. That is leadership, taking accountability and saying, we are going to represent the San Francisco Giants. We're going to represent our city. We're going to treat this first class, and we're going to start off by beating them at the national anthem before we beat them on the field. So I think it's great.
That is fucking awesome. There's no other way to put it. In a day and age in which people disrespect the flag in our own country now more than ever, I look at something like that and it just gives me this warm feeling inside. Thrill, literally, like that.
Unbelievable.
You realize what that means?
Unbelievable, EB, man.
Awesome.
Hey, after I saw that, and I made the picture, the copy and all that, I sent it to Bob Melvin and Matt Williams, and I said, thank you, boys, for bringing back the tradition of the game, the way the Gigantes used to do it. And Bob Melvin texted me back immediately. He's like, thanks so much. He said, that's the first of a bunch of changes we're going to make. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So, Thrill, I was on a radio show earlier today on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Cody Decker and Michelle Beadle, and they were asking about the Giants. And they actually specifically mentioned our show. And Cody is a big follower of everything that we do here on No Filter Network. And he said, hey, look, he goes, do the Giants have any sort of chance? And my response was, look, I think they're up against it for maybe even the next decade. They've been up against it for the last decade, and they're up against it for the next one. But with Bob Melvin at the helm, who is the best manager that I ever played for, reinstilling a philosophy based around teamwork, fellowship, togetherness, accountability, they have something going. And remember this, you don't have to be the best team in the regular season to win a World Series. You just got to make the dance. So when you look at the Dodgers and Braves who shit all over themselves last year in the playoffs, hey, man, if I'm a big league team, say like the Giants right now, and I'm looking at it and be like, you know what? We might not win the NL West, But it doesn't matter, because if we show up and show out at the right time, a World Series championship is within the grasp, as it was in 2010, 2012, and 14.
And as you well know, in this day and age of the wild card, it is not how you start, it's how you finish. And whoever gets hot at the end. Look how many wild card teams have become world champions here lately. It's happened a bunch. And that goes to your point of what you're talking about right there. Yeah, I mean, you got to get over the hump. You have to beat the other teams in your division. That has to happen. But if you can get in the postseason dance and all of a sudden catch that, little streak of lightning and get hot, man, you make it all the way to the end.
All right, Thrill. So let's take a look at the box score today, because in the top of the first, Mitch Garver homered on a fly ball to left center field. It was a 2-run job. And then the bottom half of the first inning, Lamont Wade Jr. singled on a live drive to center. Wilmer Flores singled on a ground ball. Patrick Bailey then came up and hit a fucking grand slam to right center field, and it was 5-2 Giants just like that.
Yeah, he it was a first pitch heater, and he jumped all over it with the bases drunk and didn't miss it. So it put the Giants up, 5-2 there at the bottom of the first, but then come back around. Dominic Canzone, homered in the top of the second, and it tied it up, made it 5-5, and then it was a boat race to the end. It wound up being 10-10. But, hey, they had some really good things come out of it. Mr. Lee, our new leadoff hitter, got his first base hit in his first at-bat, so I know that drew quite a few, applauses from the audience. Mr. Estrada had 2 more hits, proving once again that, for me, Estrada and Wilmer Flores are our best hitters in our lineup right now. And, Patrick Bailey went deep, showing that, some of the work he put in during the offseason hopefully translates into this year.
Thrill. So I'm wearing the jersey that you were wearing last week.
Yes, you are. Given to me by Tommy Luke, who wanted you to have it. But I had to pose it first. But I can tell you one thing. It fits you much better than it fit me.
Yeah, it's nice and loose, man. It looked like it was a schmedium.
It was a schmedium on me, yeah. Yeah, when I go buy clothes, it has to have XXL in the description. If it has L in the description, it's going to be a little on the tight side. So speaking of uniforms and speaking of tight side and even unbelievable
either side, what's going on with the big league unis, dude?
Oh my! All right, so now this was the scouting report that I got at the end of last year. The clubhouse dude came up to me and goes, "Hey, I need you to try some jerseys on and some pants." He said, "We're switching manufacturers. I think they're going to Nike, isn't that right?"
Correct.
Okay. So he said they're going to change some of the colors up because Nike's cream is not the same as the Giants cream or whatever. I don't know. Well, then, I don't think nothing about it. And then all of a sudden, in the last week or so, y'all have had the little brouhaha with the uniforms, and people are saying they're see-through, and people's got their package hanging out there and all that sort of stuff. And one of our local chat room everydayers, Bill Cornwallis, he comes out and drops a freaking what if the Thrill played in 2024 and he drops a black on my cock area. And I'm like, oh my God, this is getting out of control.
Hey, man, you had big balls, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Now, whether that's literal or figurative, it doesn't really fucking matter. Because when the game was on the line, I wanted Big Dick coming to the plate to go ahead.
Hey, I got to
for the Gigantes, man.
Yeah.
Wait, what an awesome.
Hey, so all my guys sent me the picture, right? And then I don't know, a little later in the afternoon, my wife goes, "Hey, you saw that video that they posted?" I said, "What video?" And then it was this picture, but it was like in motion, and it was AC/DC singing in the background going, I got big balls. I like big balls.
So good.
I was like, oh, my God, they're out of control now.
So, look, apparently Rob Manfred came out and he said, deal with it. It's what it's going to be. I don't get that. Look, there's obviously a huge issue with the pants. And all you got to do is make some adjustments or maybe even go back to the old pants until you figure it out.
Yeah,
but
no, you're right.
The problem, Thrill, is that literally guys' cock and balls are visible through these pants. That's not okay.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's never been that way. And on top of that, it's almost getting to be like, we used to have our jerseys be a little bit bigger and a little bit baggier because it kept, well, especially a Candlestick, it kept the heat in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you had the skin tight stuff, that wind would go right through you. And so, we wore the uniforms a little bit bigger, a little bit baggier, and I got comfortable with it that way. And so, the modern day, skin tight stuff, no, that's not the thrill. So
I just can't believe that this has become such a big issue and they're not planning on doing anything about it. At some point, I guess the players can quote unquote deal with it, but I wonder if it's that big of an issue that they actually start protesting in some fashion to go ahead and get themselves pants that fit properly and are not see-through. And so the question that becomes, Thrill, if you were that upset and you were a player and you're trying to protest these new pants that reveal everything, what would your strategy be in going about doing that?
All right, so here you are. All right, so even if you got these skin tight unis, you can see through them, the whole works, whatever. Freaking switch up your sliding pants. All right, so you don't have to wear white sliding pants to where you see through it. Wear gray or wear black or something like that underneath, and you wouldn't be able to see it. It wouldn't be no big deal. Another thing too, and here's another thing, and you and I have talked about this, and I've had this discussion with freaking Casey Schmidt, and I'm gonna talk to him when I get to spring training again. Is, dude, put a cup on. You're a third baseman. You're an infielder. Put a cup on.
So, Thrill, I've put some thought into this one. And my first protest would be very simple. I would tuck my jersey in so it's not hanging down, right? So it's not over my ass. But on my ass, it would just be simply on this butt cheek, it would say kiss, and on the other butt cheek, it would say my, and that would be it. And I'm not putting ass, right? Because that would be inappropriate, but it would be kiss my, and then it'd be there. And that's what you would see when I'm running down to first base or trotting around the bases after going ding dong fucking Donkey Kong.
You are a mess. That's all I can tell you.
Beautiful mess.
That's all I can tell you.
A beautiful mess.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. But yeah, I mean, there's ways around it. So hey, look, if they see through, we're a different colored sliding shorts. It's not that big of a deal. Jesus Christ.
All right.
You got to wear sliding shorts anyway. All right. Because if you don't wear sliding shorts, you're a fucking idiot anyway. Because as soon as you hit the ground, you're going to rip your ass up. So you got to wear sliding shorts.
Yeah, but what about guys like Jason Giambi who would wear a thong?
Or Aubrey Huff or somebody like that.
Aubrey Huff. Well, Aubrey Huff got the idea from Jason Giambi.
Yeah, that's actually too much information.
Jeter at one point, I think he actually partook in it as well when he was in a terrible slump. I remember him talking about it. I'm not sure if he actually did it, But if you do wear the thong, by the way, these guys put the thong on and then they put the sliding shorts over the thong. So I don't think the thong would be revealing.
Yeah, no, ain't no big deal. So,
okay.
Anyway.
Hey, a question for you here.
All right.
Shohei Ohtani made his big league debut for the Los Angeles Dodgers in spring training today. He went deep, and the Dodgers are now 5-0. We obviously know that statistically on paper, this looks like the best team in baseball. They're 5-0 to get it rolling. What does a spring training record mean, if anything?
For me personally, and Roger Craig believed this like big time, he wanted to create a winning atmosphere in spring training to carry over into the season. I loved it. I thought it was great because I wasn't walking out there just to get work in. I was walking out there to make sure we got our best foot forward and tried to win the ball game from the get-go. And, for them starting out 5-0, it just creates that winning culture. And it's the same thing with the Giants. I mean, Bob Melvin's, got 8,000 people in camp right now, and he's having a chance to look at everybody. But also at the same time, I know one thing. When it gets starting to get a little bit closer to the bell, he's going to want to see, that winning attitude come out.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's actually important. I remember one year with the A's, and we had a ridiculous spring training record, and then we poured that thing right into the season. And
it's happened a bunch. It's happened a bunch like that. We did the same thing. We had some really good spring trainings, and it carried over into the season. And especially back then, as you well know, you were playing in your division the whole first month, so you wanted to get off on the right foot,
Yeah. You mentioned him earlier, Jung-Hoo Lee.
Yep.
He ended up
having
a
3.
Yeah. Good day today.
Yeah.
Any early thoughts on him? Have there any reports that you've heard?
The one report that I have heard is evidently last year he was bothered by an ankle injury, and evidently now he's completely healthy. And they said he's running a little bit better than what they expected. So he got a single today in the first. He was running on the pitch when I think Estrada got a hit, and then he wound up scoring a run on. I don't know whether it was Estrada or Flores. He scored a run. So he's looks like he was moving around pretty good today. That's the one thing that I got out of today with him.
So Lee signed a 6-year, $113 million contract over the weekend. Cody Bellinger, one of the top free agents, signed a 3-year, $80 million contract. So he's finally off the board. He didn't get the years that he was looking for. I got to believe he got the average annual value of the contracts from which he was at $25 to $30 million range.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I think he was in that $25 to $30 million range that he was looking at. But I guarantee you he wanted probably 8-10 years, but he had to settle for 3, and that's still a big time chunk of change. And I shake my head. I'm like, what took that long for the Cubs to decide to do it? I mean, he was a member of the freaking Cubs last year. Why didn't you go sign your stud? And then take all the guesswork out of it. Why you got to wait till right before spring training? I don't get it.
Okay, Thrill, I don't think it was the Cubs waiting. I think it was Bellinger waiting to see if he would get a better deal somewhere else. I'm a firm believer on short-term contracts. I love the fact that even when I signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks, I signed a 3-year deal. And in my mind, I felt like if the alternative was Gary Matthews Jr. signed a 5-year deal. Aaron Rowan signed a 5-year deal. We were all very similar players if you looked at the numbers at the time. And I was okay signing that deal so long as my AAV, which is that average annual value, was what theirs was, or very close to it. And it was. But sure enough, dude, I got hurt. Shit happens. And bygones be bygones. But if I went out there and had that contract, say, for example, that went 5, 7, 10 years and you're not performing, I don't even think that's right. I'm serious. I don't. I wouldn't even want it.
Yeah. Yeah. That goes back to two schools of thought on that. And, here I was, being an 8, 9-year-old player, I wanted, the tenure, and I would have taken less money for the tenure to stay with the Giants. And I told them that, and they didn't agree. So anyway, that's past history. But my dad always told me something, and I always remembered this. He said, a lot of times you don't get it on the front end, you get it on the back end. And I started thinking about that, and it's the truth. I mean, so for my era, you had to play at least 3 years, and you had to negotiate all 3 years before you even thought about, free agency was year 6.
Year 6. Yeah, arbitration year 3.
Arbitration was after 3. So you had to negotiate for 3 years, and then if they didn't sign you in that arbitration year, you still had to negotiate 1-year contracts. So, it gave you something to play for, and it also gave you something to where you went in to talk to Al Rosen and you said, hey, I answered the bell, big boy. I got, I sucked up to the pressure and I did the job, and you need to pay me for that.
I think ultimately, and I'm sure it was the same for you, it's the same for all the players. The player gets to make the decision, right? Like this isn't, everyone wants to put it on the agent, but the deal is presented to the player. Yeah. And the club could go directly to the player, as the Diamondbacks did with me, and say, hey, look, this is what we have for you. Do you want it? Do you want to take it? Leave it? What? Do you want to negotiate it? And I think that's okay. I'm starting to get a bit concerned over a Matt Chapman. I think Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell are going to be just fine because they're pitchers. But, dude, Chapman needs to be in there getting at bats right now.
Yep,
and
you're right.
Still in the prime of his career.
You're right. He's going to wind up having to go freaking play minor leagues or independent ball or something to get ABs.
Seriously.
Yeah. But, hey, look, that's the thing about these guys now. I mean, you mentioned Bellinger and Snell and all of those. They're all Boris dudes, So what if we flip the tables here? What if Boris is holding back a little bit here to get, his clients to get more money and stuff like that?
Well, he obviously is, dude.
Yeah, I mean
look, it's evident.
And that was the thing. That was the thing. When I negotiated with Al Rosen, Josh knows because he's in the chat room right now. But I mean, Al always was fair. He always met in the middle, and I was like, "You met in the middle. I'm meeting in the middle. Let's go play ball." And it's like it worked out great.
Hey, so of all the spring training facilities that you've been to, do you have one specifically in the Cactus League that you like more than others?
Well, I mean, we had the older ballparks. We had to go to freaking Yuma for the Padres, and we had to go to Palm Springs for the Angels.
Come on.
Yeah, Tempe was the Angels. No, it wasn't the Angels. It was the Mariners. Mesa was the Cubs. Phoenix was Oakland. So, what I mean? Yep. Yeah, so I mean, we had some different feels and stuff like that. We played the A's so many times. I mean, I played over there at Phoenix Muni so many times. But I actually, believe it or not, I actually did not mind taking the trip to Tucson and playing. It used to be the Cleveland Indians down there, and it was just a great hitter's background. I always went to that ballpark and raked, so I loved it.
Dude, I was the same way. So I raked in that field. When I played, it was the Rockies who were taking over that facility. But then when I was either with the A's or then eventually when I was with the Diamondbacks, we had that, I forget the name of it, but we had that stadium, the same sort of thing, just awesome hitter's backdrop. Tucson's elevation, I believe, is higher than Phoenix, so the ball flew even better. And went down there and absolutely fucking destroyed it. So
Yeah.
I'm with you. I like that hour and a half drive. I'd load the boys up in the van, and there we went.
I didn't mind it. I mean, the whole way we're driving down there, I'm looking for freaking coyotes and deer and jackrabbits and shit like that. I could care less. I had a good time on the bus. But hey, one of the things, I even just brought it up just now, is Phoenix Muni. We play Oakland there every spring training a bunch, and so you got used to hitting there and all that sort of stuff. When we broke camp, Phoenix Muni was the Giants AAA facility. And Matt Williams got sent down, oh, God, this was what, 87? I don't know, somewhere in there. It might have been 87, I don't know. And he got sent down. He hit 22 homers in 27 games there at Phoenix Muni, and they called him back up, and they said, you ain't going back down again. I mean, you want to talk about a freaking hitter's background and a place you wanted to hit. Matt Williams proved it.
Yeah, but dude, I think of all the ballparks that I played in down there, Phoenix Muni, it was fine, but I'd say Scottsdale to right field, the ball flies great.
Yeah.
Scottsdale to like left center and center, that's a fucking poke, man. It's like 420 out there.
Yeah, no, but I don't know. I mean, every time we went to Phoenix Muni, I mean, that ball shot out of left field. I don't know why. I mean, but
you know who's playing there now?
Who?
Arizona State.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yep. And Willie Bloomquist, the former big leaguer, Arizona State star, and Seattle Mariner utility player, just a little baller, is the head coach of A-State.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I know one thing right up the road. I mean, literally, I'm not talking about a quarter of a mile. Right up the road, it's across from the zoo. It's called Papago Park, and that is now the San Francisco Giants minor league facility. They got 7 fields up there, and they built a humongous new clubhouse and all that sort of state-of-the-art everything. And that's literally right up the street from Phoenix Muni.
Dude, Papago Park is fucking awesome, bro. That's where we had the A's minor league facilities there at Papago Park. So then the question becomes, what happened to that shithole that used to be the Giants minor league park?
You're talking about the public facilities on Hayden Boulevard down there.
Yeah, where they're playing tennis and hoops, and like minor leaguers are like going around the tennis courts, and
you had to get carts and go wander around and all that. And yeah, I mean you hit a homer, you hit it up there on Hayden, you freaking break windows and shit. So it was awesome. Oh yeah.
You know what I liked about it though? So they had at least one of the fields was the exact same dimensions as AT&T Park, Pac Bell, Oracle now Park, right? So they had it perfectly laid out with the right field wall and everything else. Yeah, that's interesting because, dude, you had those fields, and then now what happens when these teams pack up and leave? The A's, the same sort of thing, because Papago was there, and they took off, right? They were gone. They took over the Cubs' old facility, and so they all moved there. And then that Papago sat vacant for a while. And I was wondering what was going to happen with it. And so, I mean, this is breaking news to me.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And I mean, it's been 2 years. And Trey and I were even talking about this the other day. It's been 2 years since I've been to spring training because last year I had surgery, couldn't make it. So I'm looking forward to seeing the new changes because when I was there the last time, they were just finishing up the clubhouse. And they tell me it's freaking game on in there now. One of the things you and I are going to talk about here in a minute, and Papa Joe Manuele is in the audience. He got a Will the Thrill card, some sort of way or another, in some special pack or something. And then Rodolfo is mentioning right now, Autism Night is going to be on Friday, August 30th, and it's Rodolfo's birthday. Linda and Nora usually show up at that autism banquet too. And then I'll let Bernsey talk about the card right here. Let me get a picture of the hat they're going to give away.
Yeah, well, the card was, I believe, like 4 or 5 autographed Will Clark cards. So what they're doing now is they're creating these new cards, and it's brilliant. So, like for me, sure, I would take an Ellie David Cruz card, but baseball card trading is not. It's always about the nostalgia for me. I haven't looked at it as a business. I haven't looked at it as gambling, but a lot of people do. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a businessman and I like to gamble. So I think I could get more into this, but Giuseppe Pepe Manuele, the co-founder of No Filter Network, is super into the business and gambling element of the cards. And so he bought into this pack. I don't know. It was a couple weeks ago or last week. And what he pulled was an auto Will the Thrill card. And here he is.
Double, there he is.
What's up,
ladies
boys?
and gentlemen?
What's up, dude?
Yeah, Eric, you're doing a terrible job explaining it, so I'm glad you.
Okay.
Bro.
All right, go ahead on, JoJo.
There we go.
You fired up.
So Fanatics Live is a live streaming service. Fanatics bought Topps, right? And Topps licenses a few, most of the current players, if not all, and then select players who played the game, the greats of the game. And they've got a fabulous new product called Topps 5-Star, which I have right here. And there's basically 2 cards in each box. And so I bought the San Francisco Giants, hoping I got a thrill card. And I hit big. I hit a 4 of 5 card. Let me just pull it up right here. And signed by Will. And you know what's really cool? Like, Will, you are known for having one of the nicest autos.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the kids just do a little scramble, right? But
it's not exactly legible.
Here's the card.
It's gorgeous.
It's an incredible card, and I haven't gotten it yet. I should be getting it tomorrow. And what I love about it is you put the little 22 on your name too, Will. So you're known in the hobby, as we call it, as having one of the nicest signatures.
Oh, well, thanks. Thanks. For everybody else in the audience, they Topps, who now, like you said, is owned by Fanatics. Fanatics is becoming everywhere. They send out autographs, and I'm not going to fly anywhere, and I'm not going to have somebody sitting over my shoulder and putting a sticker on everything every time I sign something. So they ship me a bunch of cards. I sign them, make sure they're dry and all that, and I ship them right back to them. And a lot of them are exactly what you're talking about. They're sets, and it'll say 1 through 99, or it'll say 1 through 5, like you have there. The 1 through 5s, okay, or the 1 through 99s. They're all the same card. But what they do is they change the border of it. So you'll have a silver border, you have a black border, you have a green border, you have and then that switches the evidently value around.
Yeah, the scarcity of it, for sure. Yeah, and if you get, I got a Vladimir Guerrero. They're doing some really crazy things now where they're taking relics. So they're doing bat relics now. They take a piece of your helmet.
Yeah.
And then they put that on a card. I got a Dave Ortiz, helmet relic.
They do helmets, they do bats, and they do jerseys on the cards.
Yeah, the jerseys are cool. They have some with buttons on them too, which make them rare. So anyway, one of the things we wanted to talk about quickly in next week, we wanted to the problem with the breaks on that I've joined is that people can just join on chat. The breakers do their thing. And Burnsy and I were talking, so it'd be fun if we actually did a break on No Filter during Deuces Wild, right? So one of the things that we wanted to do, and let me just change my camera real quick. All
right. While you're doing that, here, Rodolfo, you and Linda and Mike, Josh, Tommy, that's going to be the hat for the Autism Night giveaway right there.
So cool.
So
I love that.
Just giving y'all a heads up as to what the Autism Night. So, if you guys make it down to Triples Alley and all that, you guys will definitely get a hat.
So Thrill, tell the audience how it works with the auto signings.
As far as what?
Just as far as when Topps comes to you, you sign a deal with them, you have to sign X amount of cards for X amount of money. Do you get paid per card? Do you get paid an annual salary of?
You get paid by card and for a certain amount of cards over a certain time period.
Right. So check this out, and then I'll let Pepe go. I got an offer just recently. Seriously, it was maybe 8 months ago or something, right? To sign 2,000 cards. And I forget what the number was, but it wasn't big. And I thought about it. And I'm like, there is no fucking way that I'm going to spend that much time sitting down, signing that many fucking cards for that amount of money. Like it didn't. I'm like, I'm going to flood the market with bullshit. And it just didn't make any sense. So I was just curious how like the plush Hall of Famers or should be Hall of Famers actually what kind of deal. Because I had a random guy reach out to me. It wasn't even like Topps directly. He would say, hey, here's 2,000 cards. And this is the amount that I'm going to give you.
What's cool about what Thrill does, he does on card. He doesn't sign stickers. So he actually signs the physical cards. And he's not in every product. He's very selective of what he's in. So it's really cool. And there was a quick correction. Mike was telling me 5-star is not a new Topps product. The 2023 product that Will is in was released a couple of weeks ago. So that's what's new about it. So, but yeah, and I guess what you're doing is probably with a card shop guy or an autograph guy, Bernsey, right? Who was trying to sell it. So the business has actually grown. It grew through COVID.
It has, Joe. You hit the nail on the head. So Bernsey, it was big. I mean, huge. Josh Turow comment on it, but it was big back in the late 80s, early 90s, and then it hit like a little lull. And then about the last, what would you say, Joe? 5-8 years?
Yeah, I think it really accelerated through COVID. Thrill people.
Yeah. I mean, it really picked back up, and so you're getting a lot of exposure, to sign these autographs, and from not only Topps and Fanatics and all that, but also there's another company out there, Panini, that kind of thing
Panini,
too.
So Panini is back?
Yeah, they're back.
Panini has deals with individual players, but they don't have rights to major leagues. So you can buy a Panini card, but they'll take out if Thrill did a deal with Panini, they wouldn't be allowed to use the Giants logo.
Right. And so normally they don't make a card for me personally. Yeah. What they do is they block some stuff out, and then I'll sign those stickers, and then they'll put them on there.
Yeah.
So
here's another one. Here's another one for you, Joe. Matter of fact, Linda brought this up, so let me show you. This is a new deal that the Giants want to do for also Autism Night, and it's called the Bobble Card. And so check this out. This is actually like a bobblehead in like a baseball card almost.
That's so cool.
Right? That's the front of it, and then the back of it looks like a regular baseball card. All right. And so because the front is kind of, I guess you want to say it's hollowed out, there's no way for me to kind of sign. So I think I'm going to have to turn it around and sign on the back of the card.
Wow. Are they selling those Thrill? Or
I think that's another one of the Autism Night deals. And so Linda brought it up, so if you guys can make it, to the Autism Night and Triples Alley and all that sort of stuff, you guys will be hooked up with all that.
Yeah, we'll definitely be there, Thrill. We'll definitely be there this year. So, hey, I'll let you guys go. Next week, we'll have some fun. We're going to sell some breaks. We're going to give away a lot of free stuff as well. And, I have a local guy makes custom cards, and he made me a custom the Thrill card, which we will give away next week on the show. It is absolutely spectacular. I don't know if I want to give it up. But Thrill, maybe I'll ship it to you. I'll get you to sign it, and we'll
for sure, definitely. I'll do that to help everybody. But another thing too, while you're on here, Joe, EB and I were talking about it right before we came on. Now that it's spring training, all up the hoop and the holler is up and running. I even told DB, I said, if you wanted me to, I'll bring all the equipment down there and we'll do the show next Tuesday from the hotel room or whatever. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So
Oh yeah.
that's probably what we're going to do next week. We'll do the spring training edition of Deuces Wild, and everything will be freaking right up on top of my brain because I'll have seen it for 4 or 5 days in a row.
That'll be amazing. Yeah.
Pepe, explain to me real quick though. I mean, you had the box up there, you had the PayPal up there. So essentially, I think Battleborn Mike, and I explained this to you earlier, is the only one that really understands how these things work. Can you further explain for the common baseball fan?
Yeah, so typically when you buy into a break, you're not buying the box, you're buying a team, right? So in a box, where this is a half a box, we have we're going to break 4 5-star products, and there's only going to be 8 cards in there, right? So you buy into a team for, whatever, say $50, and then we'll randomize it. And let's say Battleborn buys 3 spots. He ends up with the Giants, the Angels, and the Dodgers. And then if we pull a card that's with the Dodgers, he gets that card, basically, is the way it works. And we're going to make sure that everyone gets something. We'll ship a bunch of stuff. We have some no filter swag. We'll get you and Thrill to sign some stuff and give it away. It's more just to give a little bit back since baseball season is starting, and to do a little salute to the hobby. It's I think it's great, honestly. And Thrill, one of the fun things, the cards that are worth the most are these upcoming rookie cards. So Ellie De La Cruz is like the chase in the 2024 Top Series 1. But there's a bunch of other rookies, like Matos from the Giants is like the Giants card.
Thrill, I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, Joe said that the other day to me, and I'm going to explain to me, how good is Matos?
Matos is great. I mean, he's the guy. He's the guy that I was telling you that I compared a lot to Pablo Sandoval in that he has unbelievable hand-eye coordination. His big problem is swinging at strikes because he does so good. He goes outside the strike zone and swings at balls. And I'm trying to get him to freaking harness his stuff and just, especially when he gets a chance to drive in runs, look for a pitch to drive and not just some bullshit pitch he swings at.
Speaking of Pablo Sandoval, Thrill, the Giants signed Pablo Sandoval. He's in big league camp. I don't know. I didn't look at the box. We were looking at the box where I don't think he got an at-bat today.
Yeah, he did. He didn't. He walked and he grounded out. So he was 0 for 1. But, no. I mean, the Giants signed Pablo Sandoval. He's 37 years old. They signed him to a minor league deal. It's one of those things. If he makes the major leagues, great. If not, he's going to probably be a mentor to a lot of the younger Latinos and stuff like that. So, it's probably a dual role. Plus, knowing how the Giants are, it's a big PR push too as well. So,
yeah, but they don't need to do that, right?
They always finding ways to do that. Don't worry. They're going to stick that PR in there. Another thing too. Here's another one. I didn't even know this, and I just because I hadn't looked too much. But we signed Nick Ahmed, long-time shortstop, for the Arizona Diamondbacks, 2-time Gold Glover. He's been 10 years in the big leagues. He's had a history of arm problems. He had surgery in 2022, and so he's coming back from that. But the Giants signed him to a minor league deal. So, that's the old backup Luciano in case he don't make it. Thanks.
So that brings up the fact that Brandon Crawford signed with the St. Louis Cardinals. What should we expect from Crawford?
Wow. I texted him yesterday, when I heard the news, told him congratulations, unbelievable that, he left the Giants and went to probably as good, if not better organization in the Cardinals. He's gonna absolutely love it over there in St. Louis. And from one Giant that went to become a Cardinal later in life to another one, I hope he has a lot of success.
Giuseppe Pepe Manueli, before we let you go, Jerry Park you used to go to in Montreal, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And did you ever have an opportunity to make it down to Florida to watch the Expos in spring training?
I did. So the Expos trained in West Palm Beach, and so the very different West Coast, East Coast. So you think about this month of March, you're so fed up of winter, man. You are just so absolutely fed up. And going down to spring training, the players are right there. Everyone's accessible, and it was just the heat, the smell of the grass, the crack of the bats. It kind of gave you hope when you went back home. Of course, sometimes you go back home and you get a snowstorm at the end of March, which is the worst. But it was absolutely the best experience. Jerry Park, by the way, was a pretty cool place. I saw Rusty Staub play there like back in the day, right? That's how old I am.
Yeah.
The
Grand Orange.
That's right. The Grand Orange. Will knows what's up. And it was a natural park in the middle of nowhere. They play tennis there now. They actually converted it into a big tennis court. They do the big tennis open. And then they built that big cement toilet bowl called the Olympic Stadium with that awful turf. And I can't believe like how many careers we ruined, Thrill, right? Like,
oh my God, we had somebody get hurt in Montreal every year. I hated that freaking place.
It was, but Jerry Park was before your time, wasn't it, Thrill?
Yeah, it was before my time, but I heard all the stories. You know why? Because Ron Fairley was one of our announcers. Ron played at Jerry Park for forever and talked about the sun setting and looking into it and all that, so.
Yeah, it had its issues, but it was a small park and it was natural grass. And, this is where they would say nos expos, nos amours, which was our expos, our loves. Like the city just loved that team, man. I really hope we get a team back up there. Like hopefully we're one of the two in the expansion. So we'll see what happens. But.
Giuseppe Pepe Manuele, last question here. What makes the Montreal titty bars so special?
That's, Montreal is the one place on earth where the women just try harder. They just do, like if they just go to the corner store, they take the time to look good. You won't see any women in Montreal walking out in sweats and sandals. It's just not what they do. They'll put their lipstick on and they'll put a little perfume on and they make sure they look good. And then, it's just a cultural thing. You go to a titty bar for lunch, for a business lunch. It was perfectly normal. It was like there was nothing wrong with that. You go down to Super Set.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a steak at Le Chez Paris.
Chez Paris, Thrill. This is a whole other conversation. But one of my best friends was a bouncer there one summer, and needless to say, it was one of the best summers of my life. So I'll just leave it at that.
I bet.
Yeah, Chez Paris was like the major leagues. All the good-looking girls aspired to dance at Chez Paris.
And the Chez Paris, believe it or not, was 2 blocks from the hotel that every team stayed at.
And it was about 2 blocks from where the Montreal Canadiens play in the old Montreal Forum on St. Catherine and Atwater.
Yeah, there was a lot happening in the Chez Paris.
After a hockey game, that's what you did. A good Saturday night, you go watch a hockey game, and then you go stand in line at Chez Paris.
There you go.
Have a beer with the boys and talk about how the Habs are going to win another Stanley Cup.
So when I was rehabbing in Reno, I was looking for some good sushi. And I asked the clubhouse guy, I said, hey, look, I said, where's a place I could get some good sushi around here? And he said, honest to God, the absolute best sushi in the Reno Lake Tahoe area is at the Gentleman's Club right down the street here.
Yeah, that's a stretch, boy. I don't know if I want to eat sushi at a titty.
Well, Pepe, I tested it out, and he was fucking spot on, man. It was incredible.
Smells like fish and tastes like chicken, right?
Oh, Lord Jesus. All right. On that note, we need to switch it up a little bit.
Good to see you, Thrill.
One of the things I wanted to bring up, all right, because this, we talked about, Montgomery being out there, Schnell being out there. We've got Keaton Wynn and Tristan Beck, 2 of our young guys. 2 guys, well, no, not necessarily Beck, but Wynn has had a history of injury problems in the minor leagues. Both of those guys have been shut down here in spring training. Keaton Wynn had some shoulder issues or elbow issues, one of them, and he got a good report on his MRI. But then Tristan Beck came down with some discomfort in his hand, so evidently he's got some numbness going on. He might have a nerve issue or something like that. So these are the kind of things that I will be reporting back on next week.
Thrill, is there one specific, the one that sticks out in my mind is the Willie Mays one that you told me, but one specific story that you could think of over the years in spring training? I don't know if it was like maybe a prank, maybe something that happened in a game, something that happened at the Pink Pony or anywhere else in the Scottsdale area. Is there anything that's just kind of popping to mind right now?
Well, I mean, the one of my best ever stories is Ricky Gone. I mean, I told you Ricky Gone 10,000 times, and that happened in spring training. So that story. Another one too. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but my rookie year, it was my birthday. I always had a birthday in spring training, and we were playing against the Cubs in Mesa. And so we went over there to Mesa, played the game, came back, and I walk in my clubhouse, and I had just bought a brand spanking new pair of lizard skin boots. And there are these boots in my locker, and they're painted fluorescent orange. And they got little Converse stars on them, and they got Nike swooshes, and it says Air Thrill on the side of them. And I mean, they did a good job on them. And I'm looking around, and like everybody in the clubhouse is staring at me, right? And I go like this. I go, you guys got me good. Nice job, And I just played along with it. And the next day, everybody got a big laugh of it, and the next day, Mike Krukow walked up to me and he goes, he said, that was a test. I go, oh, I know it was a test. He goes, if you'd have been an ass about it, he said, we'd have buried you. He said, but you were so cool about it. He goes, here. And he freaking gave me a brand spanking new pair of boots. So
that's incredible, dude.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you would expect. And the whole thing's a test. And I told you the story about David Justice and going to dinner at Capitol Grill and losing credit card roulette and then signing off on a bill that was $10,000, $15,000. And then David Justice on the walk home jumps on my back and hands me the receipt that says void. And he goes, you wore that better than anybody I've ever seen. And I got you. And
that's what it is, man. It's initiation. It's a passing down of a right. And, the people that, got the ass and, became little bitches about it, they didn't hang around the clubhouse too often.
No. And it just kept coming. Right? It's like if you flick the guy's ear and it just keeps, if they keep reacting, they're going to keep prying on that guy. Is there anything that you did when you got, older and more established that you say eventually fucked with some of the rookies that were coming up?
Well, I mean, it got to be a right. And it was, as Krukow and Brenly and a lot of the veterans that ran the show about, painting the balls of the horse in Chicago. And then, those guys, over the course of the years, they went by the wayside. And you look around the clubhouse and it's, me and Matt Williams and Robbie Thompson. It's like, all right, boys, we need to bring all the boys over there to paint the balls of the horse. And we just took it and ran with it. And it got to be our thing. So
the paint the balls of the horse, explain that one. I've heard all about it. It's amazing.
All right. So
we'll end on this.
On the way from downtown Chicago, on the way to Wrigley Field, you're going along Lakeshore. And there's this triangular shaped park. And in it is this guy on a horse. And I want to say his name's Sheridan. And his horse is reared up on his back legs. And the horse has a set of balls about this big, right? And, we've been talking about balls all night. So here we go again. But anyway, so you got to climb like something stupid, like 15 feet. You got to shimmy up this stupid ass horse. and spray paint the balls of the horse, right? And it depended on who came in before you. If they were yellow, you knew Pittsburgh was there. If it was blue, you knew the Dodgers had just come into town. And so, so we'd send, however many rookies there were. We had a chain gang up there spray painting the balls of the horse, fluorescent orange. I mean, these big ass balls were fluorescent orange. So you knew the Giants were in town. So then one year, matter of fact, Darren Lewis was the instigator of this because we went up there and it was raining, right? And so nobody cared because they were freaking 3 sheets to the wind. They all jumped up there and they sprayed painting the balls of the horse. They looked good. We get in the team bus because I had stolen the team bus, and we drive around the park. And Darren Lewis goes, "They're not orange enough." And everybody else is taking shots and they're drinking. They're like, "No, they're not orange enough. Let's do it again." And so we pull back around and they climb back up there again and they re-spray painted everything again. So,
oh my goodness, D. Lou. Okay,
there's a Darren Lewis story for you.
So then, I mean, as the legend goes, the Chicago Police Department's in on this, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they're in on it. And there was this one guy who showed up, and it was my last year, so it was '93, and and we run a few guys up there, and all of a sudden turn around, and there's 2 cops standing there, and one guy is playing the good guy, and one guy is playing the bad guy, But the guy who was playing the bad guy was like serious about it. I mean, he didn't know any better. He was a rookie too, and so the guy who was the good guy, I got him off on the side, and I'm like, hey, is he serious? I mean, is he going to try to lock somebody up? He's like, hey, he's pretty freaking piss poor about it. I go, is there something monetarily I can do to make sure that my guys get home? He goes, yeah, that probably is something. And so I said, all right. So I shimmied him a few hundies, and off we got in the bus, and see you later. We left.
Oh, great to see the corruption going on within the Chicago.
Oh, yeah. Chicago PD at its finest.
And so clarify this one more time. You said, quote, "I stole the team bus."
Yes. I stole a team bus. We had 13 rookies one year, and we had no way of getting them over there except taking 10 taxis. I said, hell with that. And I knew where the bus was, and I've driven buses before. I got in and cranked that bitch up. Off we went. Here we go.
No fucking way, man.
Where to God? Thrill stole the team bus.
That's almost as good as Madison Bumgarner going up to the bus driver when they broke down along the Highway 10 going down to Tucson, and he goes, "Pop the hood."
Let me look under that bitch.
Yeah, that comes back. The carburetors, whatever. Fantastic. All right,
hey, look. I mean, a bus is the same as a car. It's just got a push button. Well, they had to push buttons before the freaking cars had to push buttons on them. And,
I've never driven a fucking bus.
I know where the kill switch is and all that, and it's like drive. Well, shit, I drove a Suburban my whole life. It's like driving a Suburban. You just got to pull a little wider around the corner.
I mean, this is it. We used to have Sal Fasano. Oh
my God, Sal Fasano, love him. So we used to sit on the bench, the Goon Squad, and we do something about somehow to do with Sal Fasano, like riding the bus or driving the bus. And so we'd sit there as a unit, and we're like, just like the 5 bench guys, right? And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then whenever Sal, I think it was whenever Sal did something, we'd hop on there and everyone would go like this. Bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. I mean, it just wheels of the bus go round and round. I mean, it's epic. All right, hey, Linda put on there. She said, "Did y'all ever prank teammates?" And I go, "That happened every day, Linda. Every day, something got pranked. Somebody had something going on."
So there's one guy that I won't fuck with, and that's the big Marine, Matt Williams.
Oh my God! Oh,
did you ever mess with him?
Oh, I mess with him all the time.
Oh, geez, of course you did.
I mess with him all the time because, Matt came down to New Orleans and lived with me for like 2 weeks back in 87 or 88, one of them. And we hit and we worked out together during the off season, and we hit for like 2 weeks straight. That was the story I told you about where the guy was over hearing our conversation in a bar and Matt just freaking smoked him, knocked him out.
Yeah, so, replay that one real quick.
Yeah. So he'd been down there for 2 weeks, and then it's time for him to go home. So we're gonna put a little lather on, and we're in one of my favorite watering holes. Know everybody in there, know the bartenders, the owners, the whole works, and so Matt and I are talking shop. I mean, we were just talking bullshit about hitting and pitching and positioning and all of that. And some guy's sitting there next to us, and he's probably, 60 years old, I guess. And he's listening to everything we're saying. And he goes up to Matt and he goes, "Hey, are you Matt Williams?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You didn't have too good of a year last year." Matt, without even batting an eye, went whop and freaking dumped him off of his bar stool, knocked him out cold. Everybody came up to me and goes, "Will, you got to get him out of here." I go, "You think?"
Exactly why I say.
Well, anyway, so Matt and I, we're friends from way back when. I mean, his rookie year, my second, third year, he was first round draft choice. I was the first round draft choice. We played the two corners for a long time at Candlestick. I got the utmost respect for him, but at the same time, we messed with him as much as possible.
I can't wait to hear how this goes next week. I'm really looking forward. What day are you going? What day are you going out there?
We'll be out there on the 1st. So yeah.
Okay, so that's Friday, right?
1st through the 6th. So, and then first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna walk up to him, I'll give him a big old freaking bear hug.
Dude, that's funny. I'm actually going to Houston. I'll be in Houston.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, from about the 1st to the 6th. We got a big.
Yeah, Biscuit's got a tournament down there.
Yeah, big one, man. 80 teams. So.
Oh, nice. Nice.
This ought to be a huge test for the boys.
Nice. Good.
All right, man.
I gotta tell you this right now. Because I got a guy down here. He's actually the guy that taught me my swing. You met him at their Jersey retirement. Most of y'all met him at the Jersey retirement. Barry Butera is his name. And Barry was a AAA, batting champion. He was Wade Boggs' roommate with the Red Sox. He never made it up to the major leagues, had some knee problems, stuff like that. But just an awesome freaking hitter. And he runs a middle school down here. Well, the whole time he's run the middle school down here, he's had a baseball team. And, you're talking about 5th through like 8th graders.
Sure.
And he teaches them the right way. He teaches them like you would teach them, like, I'd teach them, hey, you got to be right here for cutoffs and relays. When you take your crow hop, this is how you get your arm up. It's stuff like that, right?
Details. Yeah.
Exactly. And so when you're telling me, about Biscuit and them playing and, how great a teams they're playing and all that, he's telling me the same thing. He's telling me that these teams that come in to play him, he says, nobody teaches instruction anymore. He said they play these travel ball teams and they just want their money and they chunk them out there and they let them go play. He said, but these kids don't know the fundamentals of baseball. And he says, they come in and they play us and our little 5th to 8th graders. And he said, we beat the piss out of them.
Yeah.
He said
they practice.
He said the other day they had some 8th graders come in that were, 5'10", 6 foot, in that. He said in his 5th and 6th grader team, he said beat the crap out of them.
Yep. Well, so yeah, dude, bro, it all has to do with like you said, people are hitting and throwing more than ever. So it's just pound. How can I hit the ball as far as possible and throw? But what gets lost in all this is all the little things that actually help you win baseball games. Cutoffs and relays is everything. knowing where to go, the double cut with the trailer, all that stuff, the leads on the base pass. I judge teams by the leads that they take. They don't have to be fast. What kind of leads and secondaries are they taking? Are they reacting on balls in the dirt? You know when I know we're going to beat the dog snot out of people is when I'm watching this team that's incredibly talented, and you look out there and you got the left fielder playing like over by the line, the center fielder and right center, and the right fielder's just fucking like in the gap, and those guys are bunched up. The positioning that the coaches don't even pay attention to. I think it's crazy. Look, I'm not want to criticize it because I think kids getting outside and playing ball, that's the most important thing. But I do think that we've gotten away from a lot of the fundamentals. And so the one thing at being a team that, look, Biscuit and Gianni practiced yesterday, but we have, 2 players in Northern California. We got 5 in Southern California. We got 3 in Arizona. So because we have all this, it's tough. But the first thing we do every single time is come together, practice. That's why last weekend, a couple weekends ago, it was last weekend. We had an awesome, we got rained out, had the opportunity to have 2 huge practices. And I said, we went 3-0 in the tourney and then they canceled it. I said, the fact that they canceled that tourney was way better for us than if we were just to run away and go, 5-0, 6-0 and win the thing. We went 3-0.
We had a chance to practice and become a team.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you get to see how good like guys really are, right? Like I get to see more from the kids. And there was one kid that he's new to the team. He's from Arizona. And I got to see him in all these different positions. I got to see him at short. I got to see him at second. I got to see him catch. And see the movements and throw down to second. And then I got to do some instruction with him, right? Hey, this is where we want to be on the double cuts. You're going to be the guy that goes out. At this point, we're going to have the first baseman trail. When you get it, I want you to fire it. Let's lengthen the throws a little bit. Yeah, so it was just a weekend spent going over details. And I had more fun, and I feel like the boys got more out of it than any tournament that we could have played in.
Yeah, agreed. So now check this one out. So, being an infield most of my life, but also having played in the outfield, I know kind of both ends of things. And no matter what happens, and I've definitely done this more as an instructor now, when the shortstop, second basemen are having a discussion, I'll go out there and I'll just listen and talk about, their footwork and how certain coaches talk this footwork, certain coaches talk that footwork, whatever. But me as an instructor, it gives me more flexibility. One of the things that I was always told from when I was a little leaguer until I was in college, till I was in the major leagues, keep the pitcher out of the play, right? Okay, fine. So, candlestick, you know it well. Everybody in the audience knows it well. Josh has seen me do it 1,000 times. If there was a fly ball down the left field line, right? Matt Williams goes out. Jose Uribe goes out. Whoever the left fielder was at the time, whether it be Kevin Mitchell, Barry Bonds, whoever. They all got that little triangle going out there. Who's at third base right now?
Interesting.
Nobody, right?
Yeah.
Robbie Thompson's at second base. He has to maintain that. Do we want our catcher going up to third base? He's never been a corner infielder in his life. No, stay there. I'm a corner infielder. I'll go across the diamond. So anytime there was a ball down the left field line, I was on a dead sprint to third base. And if I could tell you how many times I got to third base, received the throw, and tagged the guy, I swear to God, you would be like amazed. And every one of those guys, as soon as you tag them, they look up and they go, "Where the fuck did you come from?"
Yep.
Okay, I came from over yonder because this is a base that's empty and somebody needed to be here.
Well, that's great, Thrill. I never even thought of that because we teach the first baseman to trail. Right. Once that guy's by you, nothing now. You don't need to be there anymore, bro. Yeah. Right? So you just you trail the runner. But really, like what you're doing is you're doing that. It's almost like you could cut in front of him.
Right.
You cut in front of the runner to get him. Holy shit.
Right. And that's the thing. I'm making a beeline dead across. All right. I'm beating him to third base. Here he comes around second, and he's like, oh, nobody's going to be there. And then all of a sudden, the first baseman's there. It's like, where the shit did he come from?
Yeah.
You know,
that's great.
That's first off. Second off is the same thing that you're talking about. And this is a judgment call on the fly. All right. The first baseman has to trail him down to second base. But if he's trailing him down to second base, it's a legit double. It's a legit double. So you got two options. You can sneak in behind him and try to get the throw behind him and nail him, or you can peel off and become a double cut and relay.
Mm-hmm.
So you got two options. And it's just a feel. Hey, look, is this guy going to be an idiot and take too far of a turn? We can get him or not, or what? So,
yeah, I like the idea of just kind of sneaking back in there. And we're talking about, because you're not going home at this point, right?
Plus on top of that, all right, wait. Plus on top of that, we're talking about freaking Candlestick or Oakland that has so much freaking foul ground. I got an hour to get over to third base, while this ball is up in the air. On a regular sized diamond, some of these kids aren't that fast and they can't get across the diamond and all that sort of stuff. So it might be better just to trail them up a second.
Fuck that. But listen to this, though. I tell the kids, there's always somewhere to be.
Oh, by far.
Always somewhere to be. Whether you're backing up, whether you're the double cut person, and the double cuts, and this is why I'm proud of the boys for getting it. Dude, they were throwing balls like from the outfield, and they were throwing balls, say, at the first guy's feet. And those are the ones that you let go. And then the second guy gets it on one hop. Obviously if they overthrow the first guy, but the second guy, if you think about the double cut, he's just a backup, right? He's backing up any sort of errant throw. But I was impressed with the way the boys were doing it. But I tell them all, like, you have to always never take your eye off the ball and always anticipate where it's going to go. Always have it like, this is where I need to be. And it goes back to the Derek Jeter play. It really does.
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt. All right, so here's one for you. Here's one for you. Here is a run-of-the-mill normal thing that happens 1,000 times. All right? Base hit to left field. Okay? Boom, the left fielder gets it. The shortstop goes out to cut. Second baseman's at second base. First baseman is at first base in case the guy takes too big of a turn and they throw back behind him and all that. All right. In the middle of all of this bullshit, what happens with an overthrow at second base? Who is supposed to be there? The freaking right fielder. He's got nothing to do. He's got nothing to do. All he's got to do is make a 90-foot sprint, and he's the backup right there.
1,000%.
Nobody does it anymore. Nobody does it anymore.
Bro, I was always there. I can't tell you. As soon as I played right field 4 years in college. As soon as that ball's base hit left field, I run exactly in line of where that throw will be coming in.
And you know what happens? You get the overthrow. If the right field is in the right spot, whoever's at first base, he's caught in a pickle because he's like, oh, shit, should I go to second? Oh, shit, should I go back to first? And the right field is like, I got your ass. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many scenarios. Dude.
Oh, yeah. What I'm saying is that right there goes to exactly what you're saying, which is you always have to be at a spot on the baseball field. And the one thing that we wanted to recognize was, where is a base unoccupied? Wherever there was a base unoccupied, somebody had to get there. Somebody had to get there. And guess what? We had so many outs or created not big innings by not letting the whole thing get out of control because we were heads-up ball players.
So when I was with the Bananas thrill, we played Rover. And so we would sneak in whoever it was. It was Reese Hampton. We'd sneak him in from center. We actually had a play where he's spinning where he's spinning the center fielders coming in. And then obviously, like in left field, same sort of thing. If there's a base hit to right field, the left fielder goes and backs up third base there. Like just follow the ball. There's so much you can learn in this game if you never take your eye off the baseball and you always know where the ball is. That's one thing I hammer home. Dude, this is all this shit's in the Let Them Play book, a parenting and coaching guide to youth sports. I mean, this is it. It's 100 pages. It's not a lot. It's valuable, man. I mean, go to ericbyrnes.com, EricByrnes.com for all the goodies in there.
Hey, and look, you even said it right there. Do not put your head down. You see so many freaking guys get a base hit, and the first thing they do is put their head down. They're looking at the coaches, looking in the dugout. It's like, hey, moron, turn around. The ball's behind you. Pay attention to where the freaking ball is, because if there's an overthrow, you can advance a base. You know?
Yeah.
I never put my head down. I was bullshit until everything was settled and it was done. Then it's time to look and get a sign. So. All
right, Thrill. I'm ironically 22 minutes late for dinner, so I got to roll. But safe travels out to Arizona. I really look forward to the show next week. Tell Bomel, tell the big Marine what's up, and look forward to catching up, man.
Yeah, we'll do it. And then, hey, look, this was a great show. I really liked it because, Joe Manueli brought up the top stuff. We had a chance to talk about that. Got a chance to talk about the Giants. Still going to keep an eye on the free agent market. Bellinger got taken off, but I mean, now that the Giants are having these little injuries with these young pitchers, it might not be a bad thing for them to jump out there and pick up a Montgomery or somebody like that.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think this is a team that I don't think they're going to be the best team in the NL West for the next decade. They're just not. I don't think they're going to be built that way. I think it's going to be too hard for them to get that many good players to be consistently that good year in and year out. But I do think they are good enough to be able to make the playoffs, to be one of the top 12 teams in the league. And once you get in the fucking dance, absolutely anything can happen.
Anything can happen. And, hey, look, everybody in the chat room was firing off tonight. Thank y'all for doing that. And, we're going to have some interesting info for you guys from spring training on Tuesday night.
All right, man. And then, holy shit, dude.
What else? I mean, good Lord, we covered everything. Jeez.
No, I know. We covered everything except for our title sponsor.
Oh, my God. How do we forget that?
Bet Online continues to be your number one source for all of your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. Up-to-the-minute odds, stats, trends. You can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or your mobile device. Head to Bet Online today to become part of the team, and remember to use the promo code BLEAV, capital BLEAV, for 50% off your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. That's it.
Look at you. You are getting to be so good at that stuff, man.
Talented reader, man.
You are a talented reader. I got to give you that. Even though you got half of your eyeballs covered by your freaking pink hoodie.
You like this hoodie, though, huh?
Whatever the fuck you call it. I don't know.
Beanie.
Yep, there you go.
I'll get you one.
Yeah, that's what I need. I need one for the. Oh, by the way, coming up soon. Matter of fact, right after Josh and those guys come into town for my 60th birthday party, Savannah Bananas will be here, and I will be out on the field with them.
Viro is setting the whole thing. You guys have been going back and forth, right?
Yeah.
You're all lined up.
Cool. I'm gonna be texting him here pretty soon, so we'll have some fun.
All right, bro. Have a great week. Safe travels, man.
Right back at you, and we'll talk on Tuesday. I'll have a lot of dirt for you.
Love it.
All right.
See ya! Peace.